Hare Krishna deities, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj is unavailable today, so we'll have to play one of Prabhupada's class. So I'll share that for you all now.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yada Upahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purva Jena Ata Aha Tan Mantra Drisham Buriyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yudo Puhuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishtah Kila Purvajena Atahatan Mantra Drisham Variyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yudopuhuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishtah Kila Purvajena Atahatan Mantra Drisham Buriyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yudopuhuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishtah Kila Purvajena Atahatan Mantra Drisham Variyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti
Yado Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Prishta Kila Purvajena Atahatan Mantra Drisham Variyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yada Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Ahatan Mantra Drishang Variyan Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vedanti vadanti. Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti
Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena
Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena
Atatan Mantra Dishambriya
Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam
Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti
Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yadapahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yadapahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yato Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yato Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Yato Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti
Learn the children.
Yato Pahuto Bhavanam Pravishto Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti Mantraya Krishna Kila Purvajena Atatan Mantra Dishambriyam Yan Mantrino Vaidurikam Vadanti
Yana, you can skip the recitation because 9 minutes already. It's only 32 minutes. So just move to where Prabhupada starts speaking.
Thus, Aha said, Tat
Mantra, advice. Drisham, just suitable. Guriyan, excellent. Yat, that which. Mantrinaha, the ministers of state. Or expert politicians. Vaidurikam, instructions by Vidura. Vadanti, do they say. Translation. When Vidura was invited by his elder brother, Dhritarashtra, for consultation, he entered the house and gave instructions which were exactly to the point. His advice is well known, and instructions by Vidura are approved by expert ministers of state.
So, Vidura was a great devotee, great politician also. Not that a devotee should not take parts in politics. They knew everything, but they did not take part. Just like Vidura and his elder brother Dhritarashtra. He was politician, Dhritarashtra. His whole life was diplomacy and politics. But he still, in difficult position, he used to consult Vidura. So, why a politician should consult a devotee? No. If I want to do something, I must take advice, the best advice from the best man. That is the principle. So Vidura was so expert advisor, counselor, that there was a statement, Vaidurikam. That's like the Chanakya slok. For ordinary things, Chanakya slok is evidence. Chanakya Pandit said, I think you can introduce Chanakya slok among the students. Chanakya Pandit said that Vidyatam cha nipatam cha naivatillam kadacha. A man who is learned and a man who is very rich. So, how they should be compared? The Chanakya Pandit says, there is no comparison. Comparison must be there when there is points of similarity. It's like we say, your face is just like moon. So if the face is actually similar to the moon, then we can say the points of similarity. Analogy means there must be points of similarity. The largest number of similarity makes the analogy perfect. This is logical rules. So Chanakya Pandit says that to a rich man and a learned man, there is no comparison. They are different categories. Why? Swadeshi pujyate raja, vidyan sarvatra pujyate. A rich man, a king, may be very respectful, respectable in his own country, amongst his own men. But a Vidya, a learned scholar, he is respected all over the world. Tiruvane Manno. So, if one is respected all over the world, and if one is respected in his own village, so how there can be any comparison? These are the Chanakya Pandit's instructions, very valuable. There are many. Oh. And then another, Matrivat Paradareshu, Paradarbeshu, Loshtava, Atvat Sarvabhuteshu, Japashati Shapandita. Who is a learned scholar? Now, somebody will say one who has passed the MA, PhD degrees in university, he is not a scholar. Chanakya Pandit says, no, that is not the criterion. Simply to hold degrees of university examination, that is not the test of his becoming a learned scholar. That is not. Then, what is the test of his becoming a learned scholar? There are three things. Matrivat paradarishu. Except one's married wife. If one sees all other women like mother, he is learned scholar. Matrivat paradarishu. Paradarbeshu lostavat. And others' property just like garbage in the street. And atavat sarvabhuteshu japasati sapandita. If one has acquired by education, there must be some effect. So these are the tests how one has advanced in education. He must treat all women except his mother, except his wife, as mama. In India still, women, especially in ashramas, any woman, visitor, she is addressed as mother. By all the, she may be young girl, but she is addressed as mother. This is the etiquette. Mother, what can I help you? This is the very relations. The brahmachari goes to householders' place for begging alms. This system cannot be introduced here. It is very difficult. Otherwise, another business of these children were to go door to door and knock and ask some alms. Give us some alms. So in India, they have got sufficient stock of rice, flour, dal. They keep at least 1 month's provision in every house, even if he is a poor man. As soon as he gets his money, he purchases the whole month's provision, rice, dal, atta, ghee, and keeps it. So, when a brahmachari goes there, a little rice or a little dal, they contribute. In this way, by collection of these alms from the neighboring householders, practically the ashrams, eating problem is solved. Brahmachari is supposed to live in Gurukul, at the place of Guru, just like a menial servant. Even Krishna, he also lived as a menial servant. His teacher asked him to bring some fuel from the jungle. And he went to Sudama Vipra. And while collecting this dry wood, there was a storm and there was heavy rain, and they became lost in the jungle, Krishna and Sudama. Then his teacher, Sandipuni Muni, with the assistance of other boys, they were rescued. So, this is the position of the brahmachari, that they go to collect alms, all kinds of, for Gurukul. So Vidura, Krishna consciousness includes varieties of activities. The press representative, they asked me whether your students do take part in politics. It is sanctioned. And why not? Our Bhagavad Gita is produced in battlefield. So why should I deny battle? No. When there is a need for fighting, there must be fighting. This world is like that. Otherwise there is no need of fighting. But there is a class of men who will fight. Still it is existing. When there is fight, those who are meant for military purposes, they fight. Not the civilian go and fight. No. Similarly, in the society, there must be division. Not that everyone should be called, come on, we go to fight. Now, where is his training? That was not the system. First of all, Chaturvarnam Maya system, these children, according to strict Vedic principle, by practical psychology, they should be tested. What is the tendency of this boy? There can be 4 kinds of tendencies: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Some child is to become a Brahmana, some child is to become a Kshatriya, some child is to become a Vaishya, and the rest Shudras, they do not. Shudra does not require any training. Shudra means no training, ordinary worker class. Otherwise, other 3, especially 2, namely the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they require very magnificent training, because they will administer the whole affairs of the society. So Brahmanas, they would give advice to the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas, according to their advice, rule over the citizens. This was the system. Chaturvarnam Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhaga. Vibhaga, by division of quality and work. A Brahman must be qualified and at the same time work as a Brahman. So we are training especially our students to become qualified Brahman. We cannot take up all other departments. Similarly, others may take up the line of training, military men, others may take it. There are training classes, many mercantile farm, you can get your lesson. So there was organized method to train this mercantile man, administrator and Brahmana. So Vidura, although he was born of Shudra mother, his mother was Shudra, maid servant. Formerly, when a prince was married, along with the princess, a few dozens of maid servants would go with the king. So, to become king, always it is to be understood, he has to maintain more than one wife. That is king. Even in Mohammedan kingdom, Nawab Wazid Ali Shah, after the Mughal period, in Lucknow, if you go, so he had 164 wives, begums, and all of them had children. And when Britishers occupied, the Britishers had to give them pension according to the share. So amongst the Mohammedans also, polygamy was allowed. And Hindus, especially the higher class, Brahmana and Kshatriya, polygamy is allowed. Now they have made laws, but that is quite natural. If every woman has been married, then polygamy must be there. Otherwise, how every woman is going to get a husband? Because male population is always shorter than the female population. So Vidura was born of a maid servant. The father was the king. The father was the same, Maharaj, Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra, and the father of Vidura the same, but the mother different. So, Vidura, because he was not born of the queen, he had no share in the throne. But Dhritarashtra loved him very much. Although stepmother's son, he would like him very much because he was very intelligent. So in every occasion, he would consult with him. And his consultation was so valuable that later on it became Boidirikam, a consultation as expert as given by Vidura. So he was invited. Diplomacy, politics were going on. How to cheat the Pandavas, that was his politics, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was born blind, although he was eldest son of his father, but he was born blind. So he could not occupy the throne. His next brother, younger brother, Pandu, the father of the Pandavas, he occupied. He became king. Now, this Pandu died at an early age, and the sons of Pandu, they were minor children. So Dhritarashtra took charge for their maintenance and his other sons. But his policy was that I could not be elevated on the throne because I was blind. But actually the kingdom belongs to me. So anyway, my brother occupied the throne, now he's dead and gone. So why his son should be king? My son should be king. This was the politics. So he was trying how to kill the Pandavas from the very beginning. And Vidura was restraining him. So this is the subject matter. He called Vidura, what is to be done? Vidura, he disclosed everything to Vidura. Vidura said, no, you cannot do that. That will be discussed next morning. Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Dear devotees, if you have any comments or realizations, please go ahead and unmute yourselves. If you also have any questions, then the senior devotees here who can answer your questions for you. I actually had a question. Shridevi Mataji, would you be able to? Oh, you can go ahead, Shridevi Mataji.
Thank you, Sujana. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to our Gurudev. And I offer my humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees also. Thank you for giving us the nectar of Srila Prabhupada's class on Srimad Bhagavatam 3:110. I was thinking about so many wonderful points, in this lecture. But I just want to, at this point in time, I want to speak about the very first thing Prabhupada said. He says, in a difficult position, one must get the best possible advice. And the best possible advice can only come from a devotee because he is in touch with Krishna. So I was just thinking that even ordinary people, they should come to devotees for advice. Then they will get the right advice. So that's just a thought. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Really, Mataji, thank you so much. Yeah. Mataji, I had a question. Would you be able to answer it for me? Is that okay?
I can try, but I don't know that I will be able to answer. Only if Guru and Krishna give me some intelligence, maybe.
So we can see that Srila Prabhupada is talking about how we're supposed to treat women as mothers, and like especially in India where it's considered as such a pious country where there's Sanatana Dharma. But then nowadays we can see that women have been so degraded and exploited. So how is like especially in India now we see that. So how did that happen like in such a pious country?
Yes, this is the terrible influence of this horrible age of Kali. Just as piety begins, impiety also begins here. This is my take. Even I'm simply horrified by the extent of abuse and torture, dowry deaths, burning of women, acid attacks, rapes, murders, from small babies to old women. Everybody, nobody is spared. The harassment at so many different levels, the eve teasing on the streets. You just it's just part of the normal rhythm, so to speak. Hmm? This is how people just take it. So it's a very sad state, the country which gave Sanatan Dharma, which gave Ramayana and Mahabharat, now it's so degraded. Why? Because of cow killing, abortions, meat eating, and complete Varna Shankara population, everywhere, because religious principles have been all but destroyed. There's no mercy, there's no austerity, there's no cleanliness, and truthfulness practically tottering on its last leg. So it's a very pathetic condition of such a great country. And all this is due to heavy mismanagement, corruption, nepotism, politics. Everything that the leaders did till now was not in keeping with God conscious principles. Now, finally, we seem to have a decent enough man of God at the helm who is also strong enough to govern. So we are seeing some, and of course, Lord Chaitanya's desire. But you're absolutely correct. India tops, not maybe exactly number one, but it's among the top few nations where women are harassed at so many levels. Domestic violence, murders, rapes, dowry deaths, acid burning, throw acid on the face, love affairs gone wrong, all sorts of things happen. It's very unfortunate, but this is the condition today, and this is all because of Kali Yuga.
Is this because they're not getting the right teaching?
That combined with the massive cow killing, abortions, and lack of God conscious leadership. Yes, you're right.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Devotees, are there any more comments or questions from anyone? I guess with your permission, I'll end the class here. Thank you all for joining the class. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandravauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. We'll go to the assembled devotees.
So fast, why are we ending the class, Sirjana?
I didn't see any comments or questions. Sorry.
Give people some time. Maybe we can call on some people. Let's not be in such a big hurry to end the class. We still have 10 minutes, even if you count it as 1 hour cutoff time. So let's just wait on, sometimes people take some time to think and then ask questions. So hang in there, sweetie. Don't rush. We have so many people on board here. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Yamuna Jivana, Sharmishta, Prahlad Narsimha, Pavani, Nityanand Balaram, Kalakanti Radhika, Daria. Daria always asks very nice questions. You have Vinayak Prabhu, Ananta Seshna, Gauri Priya, Srimati, Sirjana. My goodness, we have such a nice collection. Come on, folks. Either share your realizations or share your thoughts or ask some questions. Such a wonderful lecture. Do you want me to share the points that I noted down, Sirjana, while people are waiting?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry, I just want to share one point, and I
Sure.
can please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So here, one interesting thing I understood, like we all know, but Srila Prabhupada is perfectly saying here that by quoting Chanakya Pandit, that there is no comparison between a rich man and a learned man. So a rich man may be very respectful, but a learned scholar is respected all over the world. Rich man will be respected, or a king must be respected only in his circle or in his country. But a learned scholar is respected all over the world. So I was just thinking, like Srila Prabhupada, how he's respected, how he's being respected, or um, because um, because of his knowledge and because of his Krishna consciousness movement which he has given. So, and also the books he wrote, he gave so much to all of us. And so the kings, maybe we don't know so many other kings who are in other countries, but these type of scholars, just like our Srila Prabhupada, they are so much they are so much prominent, or they are so much famous or popular in the whole world. Um, that's a very nice point Srila Prabhupada gave.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
You can also see
Very
that.
nice point. Very nice point. Yeah.
Sridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was also, thinking that knowledge is more important because that is the real wealth. With knowledge, one can get wealth, but with just wealth, one cannot get knowledge. One may become a big businessman, but that doesn't mean one has a lot of knowledge. Real knowledge means to know the difference between matter and spirit and to know how to cross the ocean of material suffering. That is real knowledge. There's no use, saying I'm a big astrophysicist, I know how to throw satellites, but how do you know to cross the ocean of material suffering? Do you know the stages of life? Do you know how to get out of the cycle of birth and death? No, I don't know what is that. Do you know that you're not the body? No, I don't know that. Do you know who you are? No, I don't know that. This is how all these big astronomers, physicists, scientists, philosophers, they don't even know that they are not the body, they are soul, and that they have incarnated millions and millions of time, and that too in all species. This is the real knowledge. And you're right, Prabhupada is giving us this knowledge. And he wants us to spread this knowledge all over the world so that human life at least becomes successful and people don't die like cats and dogs. They're breeding like cats and dogs. Their consciousness is going down and down and down. That is why we are seeing the children being born today. Oh my God, look at the population today. What kind of population we have? And children, not just children, youth, young adults, they're just their habits, their lifestyle, just self-destructive almost. So we are living in very bad times. If we want things to change for the better, we really need to promote Srila Prabhupada's books and this knowledge so that people come to the right understanding. And at least in the future, we will have decent children getting born. Just today, I heard one person give a wonderful lecture on Garbhadan Samskar. And he was telling us that you really want Varnashram? If you want Varnashram to happen, you have to have qualified children. How will the next generation of Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, etc. be born? Unless we do Garbhadan Samskar. So he brought it down to that. He said that if we want Srila Prabhupada's mission to continue, no use just talking, talking, talking. We have to work at the grassroots level to make the change happen so that at least the next generations take up and they have the qualities required to make Varnashram happen. That too. Yeah, very nice lecture.
Please share your points, whatever you have noted, Mataji.
Yeah, so as you rightly said, the first point was that. Then the second point is what you said. No comparison between the rich man and a learned man. The third point, Prabhupada said, so who is a learned scholar? Who is a learned man? And he pointed out three things. Matravat paradareshu. One sees all other women as mother except as one's own wife. This immediately puts an end to all lusty desires, lusty gazing, lusty fantasizing, because immediately the training is there. This person is my mother. Hmm? Treats all other women except one's own wife as mother, sees others' property as garbage in the street. That means I must not even look there. I must not even touch that. It is not mine. It is just somebody else's. And the third, he treats all others as he would treat himself. These three things make a person learned. Hmm? Then Prabhupada went on to say brahmacharis collect alms by begging, and this way the food problem is solved because they go door to door. And the policy in those days, the grihasthas were trained that if a sannyasi comes, a mendicant comes, a sage comes, a brahmachari comes, something from the house must be given in the begging bowl. Even if you give just water, even if you give just a handful of dried, what is that, puffed rice or flat rice, something must be given to the person who is coming begging. This was the culture, and that's where the food problem is solved. Then Prabhupada also says, but when there is need of fighting, there must be fighting. This world is like that. But then there is a class of men for fighting, not that civilians are just rounded up and they cannot fight or they run away. There must be fighting, but with the right class of men. Then Prabhupada quotes fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verse 13, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shrishtam. Shudras don't require any training, Prabhupada says. It is the Brahmanas and Kshatriyas And make a note of the word Prabhupada is using. They require magnificent training. Prabhupada uses the word magnificent training. Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, they require magnificent training because they will administer all the affairs of society. So with proper God conscious leadership at the helm, then only human society can be organized properly. Huh? And then the Brahmanas will give advice to the Kshatriyas, and the Kshatriyas, according to that advice, will rule over the citizens. Then Prabhupada quoted this Nawab Wajid Ali Shah of Lucknow. He was a king and he had 164 begums, and every one of them had children. Go figure that. So, similarly, the kings in those days had many queens, and with the queens meant many maid servants. So, Vidur was born out of one such maid servant. Vedavyas, he impregnated one maid servant because the queen said, I'm not going to go and do this, you go in my place. And that is how that maid servant went. And Vidur was born of that maid servant. But he was very, very intelligent because he is none other than Yamaraj. Hmm? And so, on all occasions, he was giving advice to Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra would consult him on all different aspects of governing, etc. So, Dhritarashtra's policy was, I want to rule the kingdom. But then Vidura's advice was so first class that consultation as expert as Vidura in quality came to be known as Vaidurikam. That was the word Prabhupada used. So Pandavas are actually the rightful rulers of the kingdom because Pandu was the real king. Dhritarashtra was born blind, so he could not rule. So the kingdom automatically went to Pandu, but Pandu died young, and so his sons could not rule because they were still babies. I mean, children. So because they were minors, Dhritarashtra was in charge of them with the understanding when they grow up they will be kings. But now Dhritarashtra started thinking, actually, I am the elder brother. Yes, I'm born blind. I could not rule. But then why my son should not get the kid? So this is the kida in his head. And that he wanted Vidura to endorse by saying, no, they should be finished somehow. And Vidura would always say, no, you cannot do like that. You cannot do like that. And so finally, in the end, Duryodhan, he could not withstand it that this Vidur is always giving good advice. And so he had him thrown out. That, of course, is later. So these are just the points I noted as Prabhupada was speaking.
Thank you, Mataji, for the nice summary. Yeah. Srila Prabhupada was mentioning all about the training which everyone has to get in different varnas. And even if you want to enter into politics also, I think, and for the fighting. So, everyone needs training. You're on mute, Mataji.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. This word, magnificent training. If you look at the history of India, we find many, many God conscious leaders. They were trained in the arts of warfare, they were trained in the art of diplomacy, they were trained in the art of governance, they were trained in the art of maintaining the treasury. All these aspects of governance, who is teaching today? Shivaji, as late as the 16th century, India has a very rich legacy of God conscious kings and queens. Maharana Pratap, Rana Ranjit Singh, then Prithviraj Chauhan, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Queen Ahalyabai Holkar. Till today, the good deeds she has done have withstood the test of time. Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi, Rani Chennamma of Kittur, all these were very great personalities. Why? Because they were trained. They were trained to ride on horseback, fight with swords, do dueling with lances, all kinds of things they were taught. Kings and queens, both. This was just one aspect, I'm saying, warfare. So there are many, many aspects to governing a kingdom which today's rulers not only have no idea, they're just not qualified because the only agenda is to line their pockets. They are not bothered about the welfare of the citizens. But the kings and queens of old, they cared so much about the citizens. They cared for them like their own children. And the citizens felt so protected and so sheltered because they had very able, qualified, and God conscious rulers. So this is the difference between then and now.
Mm. Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
We have two hands raised, Daria and Gauri Priya, I think.
Yeah. Sirjina Mataji, please take over.
Sorry, Mataji, would you like to ask a question? Sorry, Mataji?
Sorry, I thought that you said the choreography. Thank you so much. Sorry, I was not able to unmute myself before and talk. Thank you so much for the lecture and also for the summary. It was very insightful. I was actually like wondering for a very long time, like, because Prabhupada was training everybody to have more Brahmanical qualities. So I was thinking, does everybody have to get the Brahmanical qualities to be able to do devotional service? Or why did he in the end put so much pressure on, not pressure, but emphasis like that we should have the Varna ashram? I don't, do we have to become more, have these Brahmanical qualities? Or what are your thoughts?
Nice question, Daria. Thank you for asking. Prabhupada had to work on an emergency war footing. He had to give a head to society. He said, right now, society is headless. There's no brains. You can live without a hand or leg, but you can't live without a head. He said, right now, society is headless. I am giving society a head. So he had to train Brahmanas on an urgent basis, and therefore the emphasis was on learning, teaching, deity worship, etc. But this is not to say that Kshatriyas are not needed, Vaishyas are not needed, Shudras are. Prabhupada knew that all the classes have to come. But at that point in time, the emphasis was on giving back a head to society, because once the head is in place, then all the other things will follow. Because now the Brahmanas who are armed with knowledge, they can train the Kshatriyas, they can train the Vaishyas, they can train the Shudras. Shudras don't require training as such, but still. So he said also, 50% of my work is unfinished. This is my one lamentation. When he was winding up his pastimes in the last few months in 1977, I think it was November, October or November in Vrindavan, he was speaking and he said, I have one lamentation. So Giriraj Maharaj asked, is it that you didn't complete Srimad Bhagavatam translation? He says, no, I have not. I have 50% of my work is unfinished. I have not established. Yeah, that's the word he used. I have not established Varnashram. Because without an organized human society, how can we progress on the goal of self realization? All the parts of the body have to work in cooperation and unity for a healthy body. The hands and legs have to cooperate. The stomach has to cooperate. Supposing the hand says, I'm going on strike. Why should I feed food to this stomach? I will directly eat the food myself and nourish myself. Can the finger do that? No. There is a function for every part of the body. The hand must lift up the food, put it to the mouth has to chew, the teeth have to chew, it has to go down the gullet, the stomach has to digest it, then the enriched food is absorbed, and all the blood is now distributed with that enriched nutrients to all parts of the body. That's how the body gets nourished, which requires the heart, which requires the lungs, so many things. Then the body is healthy. So similarly, for organized human society, we need all aspects. The Vaishyas are compared to the stomach. Kshatriyas are compared to sometimes chest, sometimes arms also. Head is the Brahmanas and the legs are the Shudras, which is the worker class. They're very hardworking. They're physically very strong. They can do a lot of physical hard work. So all these are important. But who is going to organize them like that? Today, if you see, 99% of the population is just Shudra. There is no brains, there is no Brahmana class, Kshatriya class, Vaishya class, is all mostly Shudra. And that is why the pathetic state of affairs everywhere. Very, very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Even
So
150, 200 years ago, there were at least some Even if they were materialistic, they had some intelligence, they had some caliber, they could do things. But today we don't even have those capacities anymore.
So then Prabhupada wanted to train us that we train the other in the society. But then,
Exactly.
like, can you really change can you train your nature to become something else, for example, if you're not a Brahmana?
That is why
Or
we don't want to force people to be what they are not.
Mhm.
Why we want to have Varnashram colleges so that people can be trained according to their propensities. Bhakti Raghav, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, he started Varnashram College Foundation in Mayapur in order to train people, in order to train Kshatriyas, Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Shudras according to their capacity. We want
Mhm.
everyone to be happily engaged in Krishna consciousness according to their propensities. Then everyone is happy, everyone is engaged, everyone does their best. There's nice harmony, there's synergy, and society can work smoothly, helping one another attain the goal of life.
Mhm. And when it comes to devotional service, like there are some services, for example, like preaching, or if you are not a Brahmana, like do we have to force ourselves to go out of the comfort zone, or?
No, it is not. Nothing is forced. I mean, in Krishna consciousness, why should anything be forced? Why should we
Mm.
feel that we have to do things by force? We can take up the services that we are given by our authorities. Of course, authorities may push us. Once, say, I'm given the service of doing class, maybe once a week. And once in a while, the TP may say, no, no, I want you to do one more class this week. We don't say no to that. That is not forcing. That is just pushing you to do a little bit more for Prabhupada, for the. So we are all trained according to our capacities. Nobody should be forced to be a preacher or a pujari or a book distributor or anything. I think we have gone past that stage now. In the early days, there was no choice. There were so few. So many people had to do many services. Somebody had to be pujari plus book distributor plus temple cook plus temple president plus temple treasurer plus some. Why? Because there were so few. But now our temples are filled with so many people. In fact, you are trying to get some service, it's so hard these days. I'm now here in this new place for about 1 month. I cannot even dare to ask for any pujari service because it's all booked up and nobody will give 1 inch even. Of course, I think eventually something will happen, but that's how it is. The services are all booked up. So we should not feel forced to doing something we don't have an inclination or a taste for or a propensity for, at least initially. Of course, they say later on a Vaishnava becomes so expert he can do anything. But that's a very advanced devotee, very surrendered devotee who is empowered by Krishna to do like that. But most of us, we have distinct propensities. Some of us like to be very active and rush around and do things. And some of us are more introverted. We like to read. We're more inclined towards academics. Some of us, we don't want to touch the books. We want to just, get our hands into the, soil and do things. We are gardeners, some of us, or workers. So everyone has different propensities. So we should encourage that propensity in that person, especially initially. Then the taste will grow. Then once you mature in Krishna consciousness, you may be able to do other services also by Krishna's mercy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice
you.
question, Dari. Thank you.
Thank you. Gauri Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances, dear devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I just wanted to share some points which Mataji Sridevi, you shared, so that I was also thinking about it. But first of all, thing that I've heard from Srila Prabhupada, that basically what you were discussing now regarding the training, that there are people, they have certain qualities, but because this time mostly people are focused on the like how to say, service, not service, but basically, so to say, shudrik work. Because mostly of the places which we have, like you sell something, buy, basically shudrik work, even though mostly everything with the hands, because this type of work, it's you're getting more money. So even people who have qualities of a Brahman, who have qualities of a Kshatri, for survival, so to say, they are going to these jobs. They are performing this type of job. They are very much unhappy, but they are doing it for money. This is this is Kali Yuga. This is the degradation of this age, basically. I mean, this is what I see mostly in our area. And
Yes, true.
yeah, in our areas as well. So this is the Western world, actually, what now is going on. This is, I mean, Kali
Not
Yuga,
just Western
everything.
world, it's the whole world now. Everywhere this kind of thing is going on. It is not just one part. See, again, it's the effects of Kali Yuga. Kali destroys everything.
Yeah,
Everything. So that's his plan, to wreck everything, to destroy everything, to reduce man to shambles, to turn man back into an animal. All these things are Kali's plan, and only the Krishna conscious devotees are trying desperately to reverse all this and bring man back to his senses, which means what? Teach him he is nothing but a servant of Krishna, and not lose the chance of human life to go back home, back to Godhead. So it's a battle. It's a race against Kali's program. But what to do? The whole world runs on money and sex. These two things are going on: sense gratification and economic development. Bus. Only these two things. And that's why Prabhupada said this civilization cannot last, because it cannot stand on these two things. It cannot. A civilization, human civilization, can only stand on the principles of values, of ethics, of morals, of justice, of genuine religious principles. These are the only legs of religion are what? Austerity, mercifulness, cleanliness, truth. These are the four principles of religion. Without this, there's no human society actually. It's just animal. That is why Prabhupada said this movement is meant to make animals into humans.
it's true. It's
So
true.
what we are seeing all around are just two-legged animals. Two-legged animals. Prabhupada said the dog runs on four legs, you run on four wheels. And he said whoosh, 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 whoosh. From morning to night, the trucks are going this way, that way, this way. That way. He said whoosh, 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 whoosh. He said like this. But you ask them to come and you ask them to take part in the early morning program. No, 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 we have no time. But they have time to take their dog out early morning for doing, its job. Big job, small job it does on the streets. Then they faithfully collect it in a plastic bag and put it into a garbage can. So they're serving dog, isn't it? Prabhupada said, if you do not serve God, you will have to serve Dog. So that's a choice, and they're making that choice because they're ignorant. So you, being a very compassionate person, must help them. Prabhupada wants everyone to preach this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Yare dekha tare kaha Krishna upadesh.
Mm.
You become guru, save the land. This is said to everyone. Now, I'm not saying everyone should become ISKCON guru, but you are guru wherever you are. You may be just
For
a
sure.
mother, you may be just a neighbor, you may be just a teacher, whatever it is. Somebody is watching you, somebody is looking up to you, somebody is learning from you. So give them this knowledge.
Yes, basically why this mm, came up to my eyes, so to say, because even some time back, we were discussing these things regarding the Varnas, basically. And some of the devotees said, Srila Prabhupada said that everyone is Mlechha, everyone is Shudra. Yeah, he was telling this according to the consciousness, but he was not telling this according to the qualities. The thing that people, they have their quality, we all are different. But we have to use these qualities in Krishna consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada wanted this Varnashram Dharma to be like to be established, basically. So there is where Srila Prabhupada basically is telling regarding that this is our duty now, and we have to establish. So yeah, it's so much important. I mean,
Yes,
actually, thank you
Varnashram
so much.
has to be established. It has to be established to save ISKCON society. Because without Varnashram, you're not going to be able to go on. Our whole society's future depends on an organized human society. Quality people rising up and taking charge of various aspects of Krishna consciousness. I think we are 5 minutes over the time. The cutoff time is 6:45 and it's 6:49. So I think Sirjana might want to end the call. I don't know. I don't want to cross the given limits. So let's defer to the Zoom host.
It's okay, Mataji. I think Shrimati Mataji is okay too.
Yeah, thanks, Mataji, for such a nice discussion. Yeah, it's already over an hour. So I have to leave. I have another call to host. So, but yeah, we can end the call here if Mataji's are
Thank
okay.
you.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
My
Krishna. Thank you.
obeisances to everyone. And if anybody has any doubts or disagrees or has another opinion you want to clarify, please ask Guru Maharaj tomorrow. You don't have to take my word for anything. You can always cross check, read, ask other senior devotees like that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you very much, Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Chaitanya
Krishna.
Mahaprabhu.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you very
Krishna.
much.
Shravane Pyo Vaishnave Pyo Namo Namaha.
Mm.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Jai.